supposedly $20 million to fight Evander Holyfield.
Which will change for that fight.
Be a very easy $20 million for him.
Easy $20 million for Klitschko, definitely.
I do not want that to happen. Right.
At this present time, maybe
I like
6 or 7 years
Holyfield as a
ago,
fighter, but
I would like to see that fight. But at this point in Evander's career, even though he looked so impressive the other night, that's a whole different test for Evander.
Klitschko's just too big, too tall. It's
if
not to
Holyfield
reach
goes
on.
after a champion, he needs to go either Briggs or Maskayev.
Definitely.
Those would be his best bets right there.
Because the other two are just so much bigger than him, especially Pacquiao, of course,
Pacquiao.
7'1".
But
Monster.
I just don't like his skills technically at all.
No, he's horrible.
It's horrible.
He's
He
horrible.
said that.
And so
Money Barrett.
I would put
Money
Holyfield
Barrett
against him
would be-
over Maskayev.
Money Barrett,
Actually.
possibly. I mean, skill level, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Just-
only the size. The
It's the only
Money
problem.
Barrett,
Monty Barrett rocked him in
Yeah,
the
first round, first punch
with
he
a
landed.
looping punch.
and the only reason had that guy had Pacquiao been the same height as Money Barrett, it
He
would
would
have
have
been
been
a
knocked
fight.
out.
Wouldn't have been a fight.
No.
This guy, the only advantage he has over anyone is
height.
his height.
And his weight, which he still doesn't knock people
No
out.
punching power whatsoever.
No.
Yeah,
320
he had Money
pounds.
Barrett's head rocking back like this.
He was
And,
doing nothing.
No
basically.
punching power whatsoever for all that weight.
yeah.
It's pathetic. And he holds people too.
He said. But anyhow, we'll see if that fight actually gets made. Hopefully, Klitschko shows some compassion and doesn't go for the money.
Probably
But he'll
will.
probably go for that money. Can't blame him. $20 million to knock out a 44-year-old man.
Holyfield, that's another
Possibly put him out of his
anyway.
misery. Yeah.
His name alone.
Yeah,
It's a
have
match.
that name on his record. So, but Holyfield should definitely go with somebody else instead of that.
Now, the fight coming up this week, probably not by the time I get these episodes up. Pacquiao and Morales are on target for 136 pounds
Yeah.
at their 7-day weigh-in. So,
Both
even
weigh-ins.
Morales right on target there.
Yeah.
Problem last fight, ladies.
Pacquiao, we
Ready
ready
for this fight.
Oh yeah, he looks really determined this fight. I'm surprised. I mean, he's coming off 2 losses in a row. I really wondered how much he was wanting it, but
Obviously, he does.
Three out of the last 4, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, fights since Pacquiao.
last 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 fights ago, so
It's,
it's doing dark for us replay right now.
and he's looking ready to fight. Like we predicted last week, which
He's gonna do it. He's gonna beat Pacquiao.
I didn't pick that,
I
but I did pick that this fight will. I'm picking Pacquiao to still win, but I do think this will be the best fight of the 3. I really think it'll be the big fight. This has the potential, I think, of possibly being something close to Barrera Morales 1.
That's a big statement right there. That's
That level.
a classic.
I mean, both of these guys are coming the most ready they've been, it looks like. So, really
It's
looking
gonna
for
be a
this
great fight, definitely.
Just show, that was really going to show up. That's it.
And who are you picking in that fight? Who are you taking?
I want to pick Morales, but my guy told me to pick Pacquiao also.
That's gonna iron. It's gonna.
Because, I mean, just the sheer will and determination of Pacquiao. It's
And he's
a
had
brutal
much.
force field, whirlwind coming at you, and it's just something to deal with. And at the age and the weight factors and everything, and even that little confidence booster, because Pacquiao is the first man to legitimately knock him down and out.
Yeah.
So that plays a part right there.
Yep, that's a big mental edge.
So
And,
I lean towards Pacquiao slightly. 55-45.
yeah, there's no way to pick one of these guys.
No, definitely
It's
They're
impossible.
just both so great.
Also, Roy Jones Jr. was scheduled to fight in December against someone, doesn't really matter, but fight has been canceled. That's
Who's he fighting anyway?
he was fighting
See,
just some guy to get another win under him, trying to get a big fight eventually, but HBO refuses to show him. They'd rather show Peter Manfredo than Roy Jones Jr. They think Peter Manfredo, the contender star, would bring in more fans.
This contender loser, right?
Yes, the one that they tried to
Brought him back
Bring
after the first
After the
loss.
first
Yeah.
loss of this entire
Sure,
series.
yeah.
Ah,
Lost the
Exactly.
very first fight ever.
someone else that didn't fall for it.
Yeah.
Never.
They discredit the fans way too much.
Yeah, but that's been canceled, so we'll have to see what Jones does now. Hope
Yeah.
he fights soon still.
I'm actually thinking about, I want to see Jones help Kawasaki actually.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That
That's what I'm definitely
that would be a
looking for.
good fight right there.
I think Jones would beat Calzaghe, definitely.
Because Kawasaki didn't look too good in his last fight.
No.
Roy Jones didn't look too good in his last. I would say-
big fight.
Yeah, not in the Tarver fight.
His last 3 or 4 big fights, he hasn't looked too.
The last fight he looked good
Yeah,
in. I don't
he
know
dominated.
if he actually.
I saw he looked good probably 6 to 12,
But
but
I mean, he looked.
his first 5 rounds were kind of shaky to me, especially that first round.
First
I
round, he got
really-
rocked a
I
little bit.
really felt
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Roy's safety for a little bit, but he came through and showed the old. He showed glimpses
Yeah.
of the old Roy and what he can do. So hopefully he'll bring that Roy back to the stage of boxing.
And we'll see. And also, Hopkins has said that he's willing to fight Jones or Calzaghe if he can't get the fight with Oleg Meskaev.
Which I think is ridiculous, personally.
I think Hopkins beats Mascad.
I truly think that's a ridiculous statement by the fact
He's got too much skill and just too much
much
size.
skills, but
Size.
that's
And I just want
with
to
one
say
fight with one fight at light heavyweight.
that mostly I gotta agree with you. I gotta say that it's not worth the risk for the reward.
Definitely
It's
I mean,
just I
go
mean,
out on top. He went out.
who the hell knows Oleg Meskaev anyhow? Like mainstream.
Rockman knows him
Yeah, he knows
very well, very well,
He knows him way too well.
Yeah.
extremely
Twice.
well. So
But out there in the mainstream, these people, they don't know Meskaev. They're not gonna buy this. Like,
and with the way the heavyweight division is, that would ruin it even more by showing a middleweight come up to heavyweight and pop shot.
That would be
Because it's not
great.
going to be an entertaining fight at all.
oh,
it's
it'll
entertaining.
be entertaining. But
For the B-Hop fans, seeing him beat up on this man, but as
Yeah,
far as
it's not gonna
and then,
be competitive.
then he's going to retire after that, and then the belt's going to be out there again.
it's not gonna be.
And there's going to be
competitive.
some nobody come and win the belt off a tournament or something like that.
Yeah,
And then we're going to have back where we're at right now.
yeah,
So-
exactly. I could.
So we don't want to see that. We want to see these belts. I want to see these belts unified.
Now
as soon as
Hopkins
possible.
versus Tony, that would be
That
an
would be great.
interesting fight.
Yeah,
That
that'd be
would
That would
at
be
least,
very interesting.
at least those would be guys from middleweight.
Middleweight division.
Exactly,
Similar opponents.
and
Maybe Roy Jones for around.
both good technical fighters.
two of the most skilled fighters around, definitely.
They would be the most skilled at heavyweight
Yeah,
for
by
sure.
far.
Definitely.
That's not even saying much. That's but anyhow, that we'll have to see what actually happens with that. Also, Corey Spink's going to be on the Tony versus Peter 2 rematch undercard.
Yeah.
I don't know who he's fighting.
Yeah,
Is it
Rodney
Tony?
Jones.
Rodney Jones.
Is
Okay.
mandatory defense, so it should be a 12-round
154?
decision. Yeah, still at
And this
154.
isn't the Rodney Jones that was licking Jorge Paez in the ear. This is a different Rodney Jones. That was a strange occurrence.
How do you think Spink's stance at 154 is going so far? He just had one fight against Karmazin.
He looked good against Parmesan. I think he's
Especially for the
showing
year
a
layoff.
promise for 154, but I don't know. There's too many guys there that will beat him if he eventually fights them.
Uma,
He can
Mosley,
he's still a
Vargas.
good name, and who knows, he might even be able to pull an upset against one of them.
You see Uma coming back down to 154 after going to 160 face.
I could see that.
I don't if he beats Taylor. I think he'll stay at
Yeah,
160.
I could
so.
see that because I mean he is a small 160,
Yeah.
but I do think he'll beat Jermaine Taylor. I just think his work rate is too good for him.
Definitely.
I am going to pick up.
But he was knocked out by Karmazin.
Yeah,
He had a 12-round decision. He
But
lost
he,
to Carmazin.
but
Yeah.
Knocked down. So.
Yeah, knocked
but he
down,
was
yeah.
clearly sick because in the first round he didn't even throw 40 punches.
Yeah.
And then
He
in
used
the
it as
next fight,
punches.
and it wasn't because of Parmesan, that's for sure. It was like normally he throws 100 plus punches around, and
About
first
40
round
to 50.
against this guy. Now if it would have been if he would have started there and in a couple rounds been throwing 40 to 50, you could have said, well, it's Parmesan imposing its will on him, but that wasn't the case even from the first round when Parmesan pretty standard style.
Yeah, nothing special at all.
Not even that awkward of a fighter, really. I mean, somewhat, but not really. And just pretty standard European fighter. And
Nothing Uma couldn't solve on his regular night.
no, he'd beaten people better.
Yeah, of course.
And he just lost and sickness, whatever. But he beat Siku Pao in his last fight. And I think he's ready to go out there and beat Jermaine Taylor. We'll see. We'll see.
See if he gets the decision.
Who would you pick in that fight,
I'm
Taylor?
actually still gonna stick with Taylor.
You're gonna go with Taylor, okay.
Just because of the raw size, and even though that work rate is up there, Jermaine Taylor's been, is still gonna have a name sword in this corner.
Yeah, still
well,
do it. Yeah.
Well, he has to even be more fine-tuned than he was for the Winky Wright fight, of course, so
Okay.
I would still stick with Jermaine Taylor.
Okay, well, there you go. Got someone picking Taylor against Duma. A lot of the fans are too out there that have been emailing in.
Yeah, Taylor's the favorite, definitely.
Some people giving a shit about picking Duma actually for some reason.
I mean, I just think it's a random opponent, personally.
Duma?
Coming from 150, after fighting Winky Wright and coming up from, and facing an opponent coming up from 154 to fight for the middleweight title with no fights at middleweight at all, I think it's just
I'm
sorry,
curious.
please.
I'm curious to see if Taylor will still go to 168 if he loses.
If he loses, I can definitely see it.
160.
Because he'll probably claim that it was a weight issue, actually, if he loses.
Yeah, that's
so.
true. He might say he can't make
Yeah,
the weight anymore,
exactly.
which would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, he used to be at 168. He came down to 160 because he was a big.
He was so big and he could overpower these guys with his size, but anyway.
Anyhow, also, Jose Luis Castillo will be returning now instead of the
Tony Peter.
Tony Peter. It's going to be on the Hatton undercard, Hatton versus Ponorogo.
Yeah.
And so just
A
check
setup,
that out.
obviously, for these two to fight each other.
And we'll talk about that whenever we get the opponent. And
It's some guy, a guy that has a win over Emmanuel Augustus, actually, Herman something, but
who knows if that win
yeah,
is real?
probably not. Yeah. But
And
anyway,
also, Tyrone Brunson going to be fighting November 30th. It's going to be a Thursday. He should win, just another fighter.
Yeah.
And Stu Powell going to be fighting December 14th.
Broadway boxing.
Broadway boxing, so it'll be delayed.
Yeah.
But anyhow, he should win. Also, just wanted to mention Larry Merchant's gay comments over Vladimir Klitschko over the weekend. This old guy needs to retire. He needs to be killed,
Yeah.
etc.
Hey, I like Larry. Let's not take it that far. Larry does get out there in his ways, but
He's out there, all right.
Larry leads you astray with some of his stories and everything. But Lord,
But
Larry's knowledgeable.
Vladimir came out, and Larry Merchant says, "Look at this beautiful man," and he starts
Yeah.
drooling over like a teenage schoolgirl over Corey posters or something. I don't know.
And
Tiger Wing posters, and he had shown this before. He's
Yep.
shown this over the years.
He's
before
always
over
loved
the Klitschkos.
Yeah, love both of them way too much.
Rolls over him.
Yes.
How big is your new Klitschko's poster, Larry Merchant?
And they're out there.
They are, unfortunately.
Sorry, Larry.
There is a picture, a famous picture, where the Klitschkos are naked,
Together.
holding each other.
Yeah, that's pretty gay.
Yeah, that's the
Larry's not
definition of
supposed
gay.
to.
He has a
Yeah,
poster above
Larry
his
has a
ceiling.
love-
That poster off your wall.
It's above his
So I'm
ceiling.
trying to defend you, that is gay.
That's
That's the definition of gay.
That's the, he said this, not this cowboy. Well,
Yeah.
that cowboy likes that.
And didn't give Mayweather any credit for his Baltimore victory and gave Klitschko all the credit in the world for beating Brock and for struggling with Brock also. So that just shows you again. Yeah, so whatever.
Well, Mayweather, definitely let him know where
Oh yeah, Mayweather gave it to him the best anybody ever has, actually.
Yep,
Yeah,
and
I was
people
glad
need
to
to
see it.
continue doing that
Yeah.
instead of just smiling and saying, yeah, that's great, Larry.
You need to start talking back to him.
Get your entourage members to knock him out or
Please.
something. Slap him around at least. But anyhow, that's going to be this news segment. Went a little longer than we normally do, but that's okay. Talk to you later. WatsonFrew@gmail.com. Mike Jones, Iron Trent.